Rise and ground, folks. This is a no AC service call. And for those that work in Philly and also some parts of North Jersey, parking is a motherfucker. So I gotta double park the truck out there, make sure I don't get a ticket. And guys, back to what we have here. Right now, this is a triplex. Right now, we're on the third floor. The landlord said that, I guess the tenant just moved out. Another tenant is getting ready to come in, and the AC is not working. So instantly, guys, I just got here. I didn't go outside yet. I don't know what's labeled outside, but first I just want to make sure my breakers are labeled, or make sure my breakers are on, nothing's turned off. And this is a Nest thermostat. This seems to be the only thermostat here. And guys, based on the location of my vents, I know that the furnace has to be either in the closet or above where we are. And being that there isn't, I hear right now, I hear the fan run too, by the way. The fan is blowing. But I don't know, guys. I think the furnace might be somewhere in the attic hatch above where we are. And by the way, guys, this is our first time here. So I don't have a history of what was going on here. But also what I'm gonna look at, guys, is I wanna look at this filter before I go outside. I wanna make sure that if they have a filter in here, and it looks like they do, I want to make sure that this thing is clean and it looks good. Good old 12 by 24. And I'm gonna put this bad boy back in. And yeah, guys, from previous videos, you guys already know how I troubleshoot. I don't immediately go outside first until I verify that my fan is blowing, because that could lead to a misdiagnosis. But guys, the only thing I did was I turned the thermostat on, make sure my thermostat was calling, and I'll just check my filter. And guys, before I go outside, I just want to make sure I don't have to come back up here until I turn the thermostat back down. I want to see if I can see my condenser. I see the one on the far right running, and the other two on the left looks like it's off. So we're gonna do a quick game called the process of elimination. Guys, I'm gonna turn this thermostat off real quick and see if that unit that was on the far right turns off. If it does, then we know that's our unit when we go outside. And it turned off. So guys, that will be our unit. I want to just stop. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I gotta go back to the truck and get my tools. I couldn't hear if the compressor was running, so either way, I'm gonna grab my gauges just in case we got a unit that's flat on charge. But yeah, I seen the fan run, guys, but I couldn't hear the compressor. All right, guys, we're outside, and I thought that this middle unit was running, but it's actually not. So this unit that we turned on that third floor is the only unit that's running. And guys, I knew my fan was running, I seen it, but I can actually hear that compressor run. And guys, another thing for new guys, if you can't distinguish the sound of a compressor from a fan, you can always remove the cover and check for ants. But eventually, guys, once you get more experience, you can easily tell the sound of that compressor, that low pitch sound, is very distinguished, and you will be able to tell that from a fan. And guys, the reason for that is I just need to make sure that my compressor is running, because if my compressor isn't running, then I first got to make sure it's getting power, and that will lead me to a totally different section of diagnosing the unit. But if my compressor is running and my fan is running, I'm gonna throw on some gauges and check my pressures. And I know that this is a Goodman, and you see that I'm at a 50 on the low side and a 195 on the high side. And as far as the type of refrigerant, that's very important, guys. You need to know what type of refrigerant is in the system before you can make a determination on pressures. Guys, we know that this is a Goodman. And it's a little bit faded away, guys, but that's an R22 system. So it's safe to assume that all three of these Goodman units are R22. Now, guys, what's important is that I know this is our first time here. What I got to do is I got to call the landlord, and I'm going to see if anyone came out, perhaps another contractor, if they came out this year or even last summer to add refrigerant. As you know, guys, 50 PSI on the low side, R22. But looking at our coil temperatures, which is in the green, we're at like a 29 or 30 degree coil. And right now, guys, it's already 80 degrees out, so we're definitely well above the ambient threshold. You definitely want to be close to a 40 degree coil, bare minimum. So I know, guys, that this unit is definitely short on refrigerant, but before you make any moves, I definitely want to try to get the backstory here. And for sure, guys, I'm gonna let this customer know that putting two and two together, older systems needing refrigerant, we can always try to refill the system with gas and go, but I always like to educate customers and let them know whenever I do add refrigerant to an AC system past a certain age, you know, and that's if we don't even recommend a leak check. But sometimes doing a leak check on older systems, it can always, you know, it can always turn into a nightmare. But I first want to get the history here, and I want to see what this landlord wants to do, because I'm pretty sure the new tenant is going to move in soon, and that's why he's having us come out now to take a look at this, because they already got the upstairs unit remodeled and done. So I know he definitely wants to urgently get this new tenant some AC. But guys, first let me just call him, and I want to get the backstory here, and I'll be right back. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Guys, after speaking with the landlord, he said that the second floor unit, there was no history of refrigerant being added. The first floor unit was the one that had the refrigerant problems last year. So guys, I'm taking his word for it, but it's very, very important. You can gas and go at your own discretion. But guys, how we roll, if the customer understands, the best case scenario, guys, is if we refill this thing, the unit runs forever. You know, everybody wins in that scenario. But guys, you know, we don't live in perfect scenarios. If we do fill this up today and it leaks out again relatively sooner, then at that point, guys, it's either a leak check or replacement. And the customer definitely understands that, and what he's interested in doing at this point, guys, he has to get a tenant in that property within the next couple of days. So he definitely wants to get this refilled, but at this point, he understands that if this leaks out again, he's probably going to do two of these at a time as far as replacing, instead of just replacing the second floor. But you know, putting two and two together, guys, I know for sure we don't have any history on this unit, but if the landlord knows that nothing was done to this unit, it's worth it. And also, guys, another thing, you can look for obvious oil leaks or anything like that. I mean, I'm not doing a leak check on the unit past a certain age. That's not what we do. But like I said, guys, you can always look for anything visually off. You know, if you see any oil stains inside on the evac coil, or any oil stains near the valves or the coil out here, I mean, you can make your own assumption there as far as, you know, to determine what's leaking. But guys, the only way to really know 100% what's leaking is to do a leak check. But from my experience, you know, trying to do leak checks on every 15 plus year old system, you know, it's going to give you more pain in the asses than you know, good stories at the end. So guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the refrigerant, we're going to refill this thing up, and I'm going to let my number sit, and then we're going to see what this baby can do. All right, peace out. I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, we added refrigerant, and our suction line is sweating. And once again, this is R22. We got a 40 degree coil on our low side, which is between 70 to 75 PSI. And our high side is relatively lower than what I'm used to dealing with, guys. Right now, it's an 80 degree day. It's not real humid, but it is close to 80 degrees right now. And guys, R22 condensers, I'm used to seeing my head pressure at least like a 240, 250. And not to say that's a bad thing, guys. I'm just used to dealing with like old beat up condenser coils. Anytime your condenser coils are, you know, are beat up or if the coils are in a very, very bad condition, if the unit can't reject enough heat, then your head pressure is going to go up slightly. Now, you don't want your head pressure to go up too much, guys, because what can happen, if your head pressure exceeds over a certain point, your compressor is going to turn off on internal overload, and now you got to cool it down. But one thing you guys got to understand is, like I said, with these condenser coils, with my R22 systems, I would like to give it some slack. So right now we're at 205, which is great, and these units are below deck. You got like a little cover, so to say, in front of it. But yeah, guys, based on the age, I definitely would expect the head pressures to be a little bit higher than 205, but I'll take it. You know, as long as this compressor is healthy, I got a good compression ratio, I'll definitely take that to the grave. But yeah, guys, like I said, as far as that 230 to 250, I mean, that's nominal, but you know, you guys seen them too. Like I say, these 20-year-old units, the unit can still run, but like I said, the unit is going to run at a higher than normal head pressure. But you got to give yourself some play. You know, 230 to 240 head pressure is cool, but I'm talking R22. But once you get into that 300 plus, you have to first make sure that, you know, if you can, hose the coil down, inspect the coil, and make sure that, you know, even get a fin comb if you can straighten out the coils. But guys, sometimes you can get lucky, like I said, with these older units. But sometimes what I just explained, that just probably won't work with these older units. If you touch it, you know, it could possibly break in half. So yeah, guys. So like I said, right now, I had this unit running now for a good minute. Everything's stabilized. Nothing's dropping. Suction line temperature 37. And yeah, guys, upstairs, you've seen it. I believe that the room temperature was at like a 77. So we do have humidity upstairs, and that's another important thing too, guys. Especially when you're adding refrigerant above 70-degree day, you got to know inside what the room temperature is, because what can happen, guys, let's say if the customer had a window unit inside right now because the AC didn't work, if there's no humidity inside, even with you adding refrigerant, your low side could be lower than normal. So that's very, very important for you to know. Even if you're diagnosing the system, tell the customer to turn off any supplemental AC units, because guys, anything temperature related inside could throw off your numbers, and you need everything. You know, you need everything dependent on this AC unit when you test the unit. You don't want to have something else running that could throw off your numbers. So there you guys have it. This was a refill, and I'm getting ready to go inside, guys, and I'm going to check my supply. The filter is already clean, but I'm going to go inside and check my numbers, and we'll see how it's looking inside with the supply. All right, guys. Supply temperature is dropping, and it already went down 1 degree. I believe it was at a 77 when we got here, and it's already down 1 degree, so that's a good look. And maintenance is going to definitely be the only and the best recommendation that we can do and recommend moving forward, because guys, it kind of sucks diagnosing with no history. The only thing I'm pretty sure the guy didn't give him paperwork to go off of the last time anything was done here, but like you said, we do electronic invoicing, so you know, every customer, we have it too for our records, but every customer do have a documented invoice as far as what was done, because in the future, guys, that's definitely going to be important. Because last thing you want to do is knowingly keep refilling the older system. You know, for one, it gets expensive for the customer, and then two, you know, it's always going to be an inconvenience. So, but like I said, this landlord is cool. He understands as far as, you know, what can happen with refills on older systems. But at this point, I think he's going to fill it up to get the tenant in. And if it does crap out, then he's just going to just get that unit replaced. Well, this unit up here replaced, along with another one. So there you guys have it. I got to rock out, and it's already almost 3 o'clock. I got another stop to head to, and I'm gonna rock out. And no tickets, baby, no tickets. Double park, Philly style. All right, guys, I'm gonna rock out. Peace out. I'll see you on the next one.